Okay, hello folks. This is Lisa with Forever Connected. I'm glad that you found me, and I hope that the information I'm about to share becomes very useful, ongoing, long-term. Today I want to talk to those of you who have chosen caregiving as a profession, or those of you who are in a position to take care of a family member, say your parents who are aging, your grandparents who are aging, just anybody who's actually now become a caregiver for an elderly person who is losing some of their hearing. Or if you work in the caregiving field and your clients don't speak the same language as you, these tools can be really helpful because it's not going to matter which language you speak when you use these tools. So I'm glad you're here, and I just want to hit on a couple of important points that I like to always mention. If you're trying to communicate with somebody who has lost all or some of their hearing, make sure that you don't yell. That's our natural thing, is we just start raising our voice more and more, hoping they'll hear you. But when you raise your voice and you yell, you actually distort the sound and it makes it way harder to understand. So you're not helping by yelling. If they can't hear you, don't yell. Also, don't overemphasize your mouth movements. People think if they start doing this type of thing, can you hear me? Or next Tuesday I want to go to, that kind of stuff, that makes it really confusing because they've grown up in a regular hearing world and they're used to seeing what our faces look like. And as soon as you start doing that, it makes it way harder. It's distracting and it's not helping at all. So don't do either one of those. That's really important. The third tip is to make sure they can see your face, because we put a lot together with what's going on in your face. I have been a sign language interpreter for over 25 years. So I work in this community with the deaf and hard of hearing folks, deaf-blind folks as well. But it's really important. Eye contact is important because they're getting more information off your face. Yes, American Sign Language uses your face. If you do this, something is nearby. If you do this, something is far away. So there's actual language on the face when you're using American Sign Language. But if you're just trying to communicate with somebody, you want to make sure they can see your face the whole time. Don't turn away, don't walk away, finish what you're saying and move on. Really important, 3 important tips. Caregivers. So you're going into the room and your patient, can't hear very well or at all. And as soon as you go in the room, your stress is probably higher and their stress is higher. So the first thing that you can absolutely do is to let them know that you're there. When you're going in the room, you could reach right inside the door and flash the lights so that they know you're there. So you're not startling them, just getting their attention so they know somebody's in the room. So flashing the lights is really handy. Waving, even if you're not sure they're decent and you're going into the room, one of the things that we do in the deaf community is open the door a little bit, put your hand in and wave, just to let them know you're coming in, especially if they can't hear you knock. Now, I'm not saying to stop the good habit of knocking on the door when you go in. People do it all the time with deaf people. They knock and then they feel silly. And I'm like, oh no, it's a good habit. Don't worry about it. But add to it. Same if they're asleep, just touch them. Don't stand there calling out their name. They can't hear you. Touch them, get their attention. So that's a really important part. The other thing is to narrow down the choices of why you're there. So you're coming in the room. It could be almost anything in the world. But if you go in that room and you let them know what you're going to be talking about, now you've narrowed down from the entire world, anything in the world, to say medicine. This is the sign for medicine. I'm going to teach a bunch of signs later on in this video. I'm going to touch on just a few right now that are really important. But you can, again, come in, say medicine. Now they know you're there to talk about medicine. If you don't know that sign, or they don't know the sign, and this is going to be important too, because you may learn all these signs from my videos and you're good to go, but your clients don't know the signs. Your parents or grandparents, whoever you're taking care of, don't know the signs. So what's the point, right? Well, you may have to teach them. And again, if you use it every single time, they will learn it, whether they want to learn it or not. So maybe go in with a medicine bottle and use the sign for medicine. And then you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Another thing that is always asked as you go in, pain. Are you in any pain? This is the sign for pain. Sometimes it twists. Either one is fine. And pain is basically you can put it wherever you need it. I've got a headache. I've got a stomach ache. My shoulder hurts. So pain is a really important one. Again, we're going to get into a bunch more signs. This is the sign for bathroom. That's the hand shape of the letter T for toilet, and you just wiggle it. That's bathroom. And you can do, you can use the numbers like when we're being polite, we say 1 or 2, which do you need help with? But bathroom. Time seems to come up a lot. I work as a medical interpreter, and I have for over 20 years, and it's always like, I'll be back at 2 o'clock to give you more medicine, or your family's coming to visit you at 3 o'clock or whatever, and you can point at the clock, and I will teach. There'll be a whole nother video, so make sure you go looking for more videos if you're interested. I'm going to teach about numbers. There'll be a whole video about numbers because it's a lot more complicated than it might seem. It's also really easy. It's both. Depends on how much you want to communicate. But let's do real quick. 1 through 5, 1, 2, 3. This is 3. If we do this, it's W, or 6. So 3, 4, 5. So you can point at the clock, act it out, write it down. Oftentimes people keep a whiteboard with a pen that you can write things down. Use whatever you can, but time can be a really important thing, as you know, I'm sure. The other thing, food, you're just eating, yum. Drink, really easy. And this is visit. It's 2 V hand shapes, and it's just visit coming off your eyes. Somebody's coming to visit you. So you might let them know that there's somebody coming to visit, So those are just really basic things that often come up when I work as an interpreter with caregivers, nurses, doctors, medical assistants, whoever. But again, you're taking care of these people, they're in their room, everything's fine, you come in and the stress level goes way up because they don't know why you're there. They're not sure they're gonna understand. Not everybody likes surprises, but in this case, this is life. They don't want to be surprised. They want to know why you're in there. So narrow it down. The other thing that you can do, which is really handy, is to plan ahead. Keep in mind who you're going to talk to. Maybe you only care for one person. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's your dad. Maybe it's you work as a caregiver, but you're one-on-one. Think about that person and what might help them understand what you want to talk to them about. Bring visuals, everything from pictures to props, and be ready to act stuff out. Don't limit yourself with our stuffy, grown-up, able to hear and talk and everything kind of world. Use your body, use pictures. If you're working in a facility, get some picture menus. Get menus that have the pictures on them because they may have lost their vision to some degree too. So never hurts to have things that you can point to. It's always a really good idea. Also slow down, especially people that are they get going and they're doing their routine. I work, again, like I said, I work at the hospitals all the time, and the nurses come in, they're there to do an assessment. They come in and they're great. Don't get me wrong. Oh my gosh, I love all the medical facilities, all the doctors and nurses and MAs and PCTs and everybody else. They do amazing work and they just get going. They're doing their thing. So you need to slow down. You need to check and make sure that they actually understand. It's a really important thing. You can do everything. One of the main tools, and maybe you've heard about this before, but one of the main tools is to have them tell you what you just said. Because everybody knows. The deaf community, absolutely, little deaf kids learn that the best answer is to smile and nod, like you understand. And that means they miss out on so much because they're acting like they understand. And everybody does that. Whether you're talking to somebody who has an accent or speaks a language you don't know, you're smiling and nodding, that's the right answer. Well, you're trying to find out if this person's in pain. You're trying to find out if this person took their medicine. You're trying to find out if they want to take a bath. Make sure that they're with you. Slow down. Ask them to repeat what you said and make sure you're on the same page. So those are just the beginnings of my ideas for you as caregivers to use to communicate best with the people you take care of. I'm sure that I'll come up with a lot more, so make sure and keep an eye on my page, on my website, foreverconnected23.com, and look for more. And if you have suggestions, I'm listening. Tell me what you need, and I would be happy to do what I can to make more videos and teach you what you really need to know. Okay, so now we're going to get into a bunch of signs. And I want to say that it doesn't matter if you do this perfectly. You're not trying, well, maybe you are, you want to become fluent and really good at sign language. go take an actual class, learn how to do sign language, become an interpreter. It's a great profession. It's really interesting and fun every day. You can make a lot of money. So if you want to do that, great. But here's a starting point. I'm just going to share a few signs that might be helpful in your day-to-day work as you take care of these folks that can't hear you so well or not at all. So I mentioned before the sign for pain. Again, it can just be 2 fingers like this, or you can twist it. I think I usually do that when it hurts really bad. It's like excruciating pain, but also put it where it hurts. My neck hurts, and it does. I was looking at the birds too much or something. Anyway, so pain, really important. Time, the actual sign for time is to point at where your wristwatch would be. Time, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and we could do that whole thing. I could teach you those numbers, but another video. Look for the numbers video because it's going to be good. The signs for same and different. Same, 2 fingers, same. Different, different. So you're taking them away from each other for different, bringing them together for same. And where that came, the reason I'm including that in this video is all the assessments that you do when you're taking care of somebody. Recently working with a gentleman who had a stroke, and of course the medical folks all want to know if his sensations are the same or different. So constantly having to do same, feel same, where they touch the feet. Does it feel the same or different? Same or different? So those will be handy for you as you do your assessments with your clients. Bathroom is a big one, right? I don't know your clients, your parents, your grandparents. Are they still mobile? Can they get up and deal with that on their own, or do they need your help? A lot of my clients that are aging need a lot of help. So let's talk about bathroom. So this is the T hand shape for toilet, and you just shake it. That's bathroom. Now maybe if you don't know the sign or you don't learn that sign, it's because you go in and the bathroom's right there and you can point at it and say, do you need to go to the bathroom? But this is the sign for bathroom. The sign for number 1 will say, again, you could just be, more formal and say 1 or 2, which one do you need to do? But I know everybody wants to know the signs for pee and poop. Okay, so this is P, it's the letter P, which is an awkward one. It's one of the hardest ones I had learning. But this is the letter P, and it's basically you're just peeing. Poop is this. So since we're talking about poop, and who doesn't want to talk about poop, right? So if you want to know if they're constipated, you can't get the poop to come out, right? Constipated, okay? So what's the opposite of constipated? It's diarrhea, okay? And these are important things to know. I'm sure if you have little kids and they're listening, they're like, hee, let's learn about this stuff. But I know when you're caretaking for somebody, these are really important things to know. So just regular pooping is this. Can't poop. Too much poop. Okay. And then one of the main things I remember when I had my son, my husband was checking in on me after my son was born through C-section, so pretty major surgery. Everybody kept asking me if I had started passing gas. And this is a really common question. Anytime somebody has surgery or anything going on, are you passing gas? It's a really important part of your healing. I didn't know that. This is the first time I had surgery. And I told my husband, I go, everybody who comes in here wants to know if I'm farting. What's going on? I didn't understand. But I know it's an important part because it's important that things are moving through. So same thing. Let's just get it out there. This is the anus. That's why poop is this, okay? So this is fart. So, and you can, I just was interpreting for this wonderful deaf man who was, he just started passing gas and he was just playing with it. He's like, so big fart there, little farts, you can play with it. But point is, those are important things to know when you're taking care of someone. So personal hygiene, I know a lot of times the caregivers will come in and ask, do you want to take a shower? Do you want to take a bath? Do you want to brush your teeth? So shower is this. It's the water coming down off the shower head. Shower. Bath, you're basically scrubbing yourself, scrub-a-dub-dub. And again, have fun with it. Brushing your teeth, 1 finger, brushing your teeth. Brushing your hair, you can use a claw hand to brush your hair. Shampoo, pretty self-explanatory, right? A lot of these you probably come up with if you thought about it, but people don't think to use their hands. They don't think to use their body. You're going to be different. You're going to be better at this. Okay, so the sign for blood is you've basically got 2 4 hand shapes. Blood, it's coming off your chin because this is the sign for red, and there are videos about red, purple, green. We'll do all kinds of fun colors, but this is the sign for red. So it comes off your chin like it's the sign for red, and it's a liquid running down basically, but this is blood. You go in for your assessments, you're gonna check their blood pressure, their temperature, and their oxygen, right? So blood pressure, just the cuff. You just like your hand is the blood pressure cuff, and you squeeze, blood pressure. Okay, temperature is like a thermometer, and the temperature is rising or going down, and you just basically, this is temperature. And if you have one of those temperature things, the thermometers, you don't necessarily have to remember these signs, but it might be helpful, so I wanted to teach them. You can also just grab the tool, whatever it is. Here's the thermometer, and they'll know you're gonna take their temperature, or here's the blood pressure cuff, we put it on. But again, let them know. Give them a signal before you do anything to them. Keep them in the loop. Okay, so go into bed. It's basically putting your head on a pillow. I'm just gonna go to bed. Eat, drink, sleep. So you're basically closing your whole face. Sleep. Breathe. So if you're doing the oxygen sensor thing and you're trying to get their blood or their oxygen up and you need them to take a breath, just show it. Show your chest rising and falling. Breathe. The other thing that they often check is their vision. You guys, want to make sure that their eye movement is right or whatever. And so this is, again, the letter V, vision. You're looking at things. Those are your eyes looking at things, vision. Sometimes you'll ask them to, follow your finger or whatever, but just checking their vision and their eye movement. Hot, cold. So I have a gentleman right now who's I've been working with who loves to drink warm water, not too hot. He wants it warm. So this might be important as you're taking care of folks. Hot is kind of, again, this kind of claw shape. Hot, hot, hot. And then cold. That one you probably never forget because brrr, right? Warm. So hot, cold, and warm. This particular gentleman, again, ordered some water and he didn't want it cold. It's too cold in here. I don't want cold water. I want warm water. Not hot, warm. Okay, so make sure that I touched on everything as far as assessments are concerned, because I know that that is a big part of your day-to-day, is just making sure that your client, patient, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it is, that they're comfortable, that they haven't declined, that you're taking note of whatever's going on with them. So touch and feel. You can just touch their middle finger. Again, this is a really common hand shape. I don't know of any word for it, but it's this hand shape, touch. And then if you do it on your body, feel as in emotion. Like, for example, again, if they're doing the neurological tests, checking in, you'll be touching their feet, their hands, their legs, their everything, and does it feel? Touch, feel. Oftentimes, you want to know if they can move their feet, move their legs. And so you'll have them, you guys, the caregivers in the hospitals like to say, like you're driving a car and pushing on the gas. So you would basically just point at their feet and just show them, show them to move their toes up or down and make sure that they understand. And if they're still confused, what really works really well, if you're standing there looking at them and they're laying in the bed and their feet are right here, just point. It's, you don't have to get stuck with what was that sign? Lisa taught me a sign. I can't remember the sign. Just use your own body. Show them what you need them to do. Arms and legs, up and down. Arms, you just basically body part, up, down, whatever. Same with legs. And then the most common one, squeeze my fingers. My clients were like, I don't want to hurt you. And the nurses are always going, just squeeze my hands. So again, just show them, If you just put your fingers in their hands, sometimes they don't know what the heck you want, especially if they're new. This is all new to them. Everything, they're coming out of whatever and they're having to be assessed. So, show them, squeeze their own fingers and then put your hands in their fingers. So really important that you let them know what they're doing, let them know what you're doing, and make it visual. Do your best to just make it so they can see it. And I know a lot of people are also losing their vision, and I probably should make a video about working with people who can't see you very well either, because I work a lot with the deaf-blind community. But for now, I'm focusing on people who can't hear you well, and hopefully all of these signs and tips and tricks are going to be useful to you and will span generations. It'll knock down all the language barriers, because again, you don't need to speak the same language for these types of tools. You're not talking anymore. Stop talking. Start communicating. And thank you for the work you do. You guys are amazing. It's got to be a real burden some days, and I just think you're amazing, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for finding me at Forever Connected, and I hope that you are connected to the people that you care about, whether it's professionally or just personally. Okay, thanks, and find my website, foreverconnected23.com, and there's a lot of videos to see and a lot more to learn, and please do reach out to me if there's something I can do specifically for you to make your life and your job better. Okay, thanks, bye.